Everyone has to find their own journey on how to be a leader of themselves. You can't try and copy somebody else. You can take little bits and pieces and learn, I like that, I don't like that, and so forth, but it's got to be you.
My guest today is Bradley Watson, known to many simply as Brad. He is the founder and CEO of Akela Group, a former Australian Army officer, and, more importantly, a leader shaped by service, adversity, and responsibility. Brad is not someone who speaks about leadership from theory. He's lived it in uniform, in business, in moments where decisions carried real weight. He's built teams, navigated crisis, confronted mortality, and returned with clarity about what truly mattered.
That freaky accident that you are involved in.
It was almost losing one of my loved ones.
This conversation moves across the full terrain of a life in leadership, from Brad's early days in the Army, to building Akela Group from the ground up, to the distinction between managers and leaders, to what young people should really know before entering cyber, to the culture of results over appearance, and to a moment that changed everything, a freak accident that left him in Burns' world, confronting death and reevaluating meaning.
So the meaning of life is to live life.
We talked about why people matter more than process, why not every technical expert should become a leader, what a real 90-day plan looks like, how mentorship actually works, and what it means to build something that outlives you.
Fuck death, don't stop.
If you are early in your career, this episode offers grounding. If you are leading others, it offers perspective. If you are building something, it offers clarity. This is a conversation about becoming a leader of yourself, becoming someone others trust, becoming steady in moments that test you. It's not about fear. No. It's not about fear. It's about what becomes possible when leadership is human.
A good team can make almost any bad process work. A bad team will ruin almost every good process.
Please join me for Life in the Trenches with a Resilient Leader, in conversation with the one and only Brad Watson. Brad, welcome.
Thank you.
It's been a long time coming. I thought maybe we should start in light of what's happening in our country, but also in one of our major cities with the Bondi attack.
Yeah.
I thought it would be good if we could take a minute of silence.
No, of course.
Yeah. I'm going to read you a quote.
Okay.
It's still related to that Bondi attack.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning almost about to cancel our interview because I just felt not only upset but confused, especially being a father. But then a thought come to mind: life must go on, and you have to do what you have to do regardless of whatever is happening is part of building resilience. But then I read something that actually even uplifted me and gave me a renewed sense of hope. It was a quote by a guy named Vin. He runs a communication. He normally teach people effective communication. So I do. I was scrolling through my Instagram and I read what he said. I'll read it to you verbatim. He said, this is him quoting his father first.
Okay.
He said, when you eat the fruit, remember those who helped you plant the tree. And then he said, part of remembering is not to treat whatever situation, especially the Bondi situation, with a sense of lust and hatred towards one another. Then he said, then how do we move on and move forward as Australians? And I quote, look out for each other. Plant seeds of kindness in real ways. Check on our mates. We will be gentle in public. We will stand up when we see someone being targeted. We can plant compassion. We will support the families who've been impacted. We will support the first responders. We will hold space for grief without turning into hatred. We will plant strength. We will stay clear-minded. We won't spread rumors. And we will refuse to blame whole communities for one person's violence. That's how we protect the beautiful garden we all live in and we all call home. And there I say amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to capture your thoughts.
Every society, and if we look at Australia, we've had significant tragedies, either from natural disaster or our own doing. If we look at, say, Port Arthur, we look at some other shootings or terrorist attacks or, floods, fires, and everything. The Australian community is very resilient. It does bounce back, and all communities within Australia. That's part of what sets Australia back. Or what's part of sets Australia apart from a lot of the rest of the world. I think one of the things that's going to help with the healing, but also the lessening the blame game and avoiding politics side of the house. That's a different conversation. But you look at the gentleman that wrestled the shotgun away from, right? His background, so Muslim, he jumped in. Then I've seen online a lot of other people from Australia's Muslim community.
Yeah.
Saying what an appalling act and good on the hero and very much support for the community, the impacted community and everything. And calling out the barbarous act that was done. So I think the community will drive a lot of that support by coming out and openly supporting that impacted community. And that will happen faster than what any political action or law enforcement action or anything like that as well. Australians are pretty good at working out who's genuine, who's not.
Absolutely, yeah.
And communities in acts like this, communities tend to also sort things out themselves as well. There wouldn't be many elements of Australians community that would support what's happened, and if just for argument's sake, if there were other people involved, majority of the community wouldn't support them. They would tell law enforcement about them and ASIO and so forth.
Yeah.
So I actually think that's going to be one of the driving forces to help reunite. Yes, there are bigger political issues that need to be addressed, but that's that's
Yeah.
for others to work on in that regards. And I'm sure we'll talk about some of it.
Yeah.
In my background, I've had the opportunities to go to various parts of the world, and
Yeah.
I've seen communities that are absolute loving, support, and I've seen pure hatred as well, and people that have want to kill Australians. So you get that everywhere,
Yeah.
and in the Garden of Eden, there's always, floods or fires or droughts and so forth.
Yes.
So every Garden of Eden also has those ups and downs as well.
Yeah.
That is life, that is nature, and that's communities, countries.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the world keeps getting smaller and smaller as well. Yeah. And to be honest, I am much more hopeful, and I believe in the Australian dream and the way we handle things. So, and I'm sure, as you said, we're going to get better and stronger from this. And we wish all impacted communities well, and on a lighter note, I've only known you for about 2 or 3 months, I believe. I've seen you. I mean, we've done some.
We've done. I've done a couple of activities where you've been in attendance and everything like that, but we haven't actually sat down and spoken, gotten to know each other until
about 2 to 3 months
ago.
Yeah. So, and with that in mind, what would somebody meeting you for the first time, what will that person want them to take away? What will you want that person to take away from you in terms of who you are as a person, as a leader?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say it depends on what context they're meeting me for the first time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but if we talk about it from a leader perspective, hopefully, someone who's can provide good leadership, is known to have learnt some very hard lessons.
Yeah.
I've had some spectacular successes, but I've had almost as many spectacular failures, and I've made some monumental mistakes, and I've learnt from those. So if I can help others have on their journey to step on less landmines than what I did, and can make things just a little bit easier for them, or to a bit of guidance and so forth. Everyone has to find their own journey on how to be a leader of themselves. You can't try and copy somebody else. You can take little bits and pieces and learn, I like that, I don't like that, and so forth, but it's got to be you. And probably the other thing is a big advocate of making that distinction of, how can I say this? I dislike the term manager. You're either a leader or not. I was taught by a mentor of mine back in army days, was you manage situations and equipment, but you lead people. And it doesn't matter what level you are. You might be in charge of a team of 2, and you might be in charge of a team of 1,000, but you're a leader.
Yeah,
you're not a manager. You're a leader. And so I think by the introduction of the term manager, we've weakened the skill sets and the position of a leader.
I'm actually curious, Brad. Where did that even come from in the first place? This idea of manager in a work setting.
Look, I don't know the official background or anything, but I think a part of it had to do with somebody didn't like the term leader. They wanted a softer title or whatever. But no, it's an interesting topic to research, actually, where the origins of that term come from.
It got me thinking, remember when they always talk about the Industrial Revolution, where we tend to sort of bring more like a factory kind of workers because that's what the world demands at the time. But then now that the world keeps evolving, it almost doesn't seem like we are evolving with in some areas at least, like for example the leadership side of things. So I wonder whether that's where those key aspects come from, in just getting people to be conforming to things, being directed all the time, as opposed to allowing people to sort of
could be. I think we've had, workplaces have evolved. So if we look at pre-industrial age, there was a type of workplace back in the day. Then the industrial age transformed. How we worked, the workplaces and everything like that. Then we had post World War II, which once again transforms workplace, or even during World War II, where majority of the fighting force was male. So a large part of the workforce back home was then females. So that was a major, and then you had the rapid manufacturing processes that were developed during World War II for armament that then became common in just the everyday workplace post World War II. Then we had the information age, right? And that was, then we saw the real rise of corporate offices, everyone in their cubicles, and everything like that. And now, the last few years, we've then had another workplace transformation where, for want of a better phrase, it's now a hybrid model of a couple of days a week in the office, a couple of days a week from home, or sitting down by the Brisbane River with your cheese board and doing your work, right? So, so it's been a workplace transformation.
I've also heard that now this movement around people living in places like Bali, but then working for companies in the US.
Well, I mean, we have clients all along the eastern seaboard, and we've had a couple of clients internationally as well. And in the new year, it looks like we'll pick up some other international clients.
Nice.
As well. And a lot of that work can be done remotely with only short visits. Now, luckily, we have people in each of the cities on the eastern seaboard of Australia, and then next year we're looking at opening up our first international office and that as well. So that'll be interesting for us. But the workplaces and the clients and the type of work are all changing as well, and so much of it can be done remotely. And that's just evolution of the workplace.
Absolutely. So in researching you, trying to prepare for our session,
how'd that go?
Man, I said no wonder you are just the right cyber person. There's not much, but then those things that I found are all quality stuff. It's almost like you've curated most of it, but to be honest, but the beauty of that is all the things that you are involved with are things of quality. That's what I observe
Yeah.
consistently. Yeah. They're all qualities, though, which is really cool to see. So I keep wondering, okay, what's the best way to approach this session?
Mm-hmm.
And I reflected deeply. So last week, there was a lot of IT graduates. Graduations happened. In fact, I attended Jovan's graduation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he just graduated. As well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What discipline?
IT and cybersecurity.
Okay.
Yeah.
More the GRC or more the tech?
GRC.
Yeah.
More GRC.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing: is for cyber.
Yeah.
I believe everybody should do GRC first, because then you get a good base understanding of how it works.
Interesting.
What up the chain is after, risks, responsibilities, and all that sort of stuff. And then if you have that technical inclination, then follow that. Or you might be better suited for the GRC world.
Yeah.
You know, there is two streams, and it's like
It's
in project management. I believe all project managers should actually start out as business analysts, because you learn the basics. You learn, stakeholder engagement. You learn how to analyze things and vast quantities of different types of information. You learn how to put that into a report and then write. There's so many skills you actually learn. You learn how to plan.
Yeah.
You have to understand how projects and everything work. Right. Then you move up and transition up into the project officer and project manager and all that sort of stuff. I actually think in both those types of streams, the business analyst and the GRC should be grassroots entry for everybody.
Wow.
My humble view.
Interesting, yeah. So really that got me thinking a lot, Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah. On one hand, we kept talking about how there's skill shortage.
Sorry?
There's skill shortage,
Yeah.
on one hand. But on the other hand, here I am. I show up at a graduation ceremony. I can see, and on that day, the graduation from 9 a.m. all up till like the evening period are all IT streams. So I kept wondering, and they are in their thousands graduating. So I kept wondering now with this AI and the change, where will the job come from? How prepared are they to really jump right into the job force, and where will the job come from? Because we keep seeing layoffs happening. We keep seeing budget being slashed.
Yep.
And I got me thinking. So, and on the same angle, I was listening to this entrepreneur is Alex Hormozy. He was talking about where he recounted a story that happened to him recently, where a young man approached him and said, he's in sales. The guy is in sales. So he approached him and he said, I have made up to 80,000 doing sales, and I've saved money, but I am no longer passionate. And as a result, I've given up that. Now I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So those two things were like, I can't take it out of my head. That story, and then seeing what happened last weekend.
Look,
so I was thinking, how about we take a step back and say, for age gap between 21 to up to 35, which I fall into that age bracket, by the way. Can we walk through what do you think, how a young man should start looking at these challenges with so much uncertainty and so much they need to learn, and we all need to learn before we can start proving ourselves and build trust? How should we start?
Well, we'll just take a slight step back for a sec,
please.
To, I guess, set some parameters on something. So, out of all of the people that graduated, we're in that whole day, right? probably 40 to 50% will end up working in IT. Some of them would have worked out, they completed their studies, they passed their studies, but they reached the end of it and gone, I hate that. And they'll go off and do something completely different, right? And then you'll have a bunch that will be found where workplaces will view them as, look, you don't really have the right aptitude or attitude, or you're not really suitable for what we're after, all right? And then, as I said, 40 to 50% will enter into the IT for their first career. So I'm on my fourth career.
Wow.
Right? So,
oh my God. I want to hear more.
The majority of people of today will not have just the one career. Probably 90%. If we just here in Australia,
right?
They will change careers several times, and it might be every 5 or 6 years that they change. Some careers, some jobs will no longer exist when they started them because of advent of new technologies, AI, whatever, or the new platforms come in that they're just not skilled in. So new graduates that grew up in this new platform will take over those jobs. Then there's the aspect of everyone will only reach a certain ceiling level, right, for what level they reach, or what promotions and so forth. Some will be content with that. Others will get frustrated, and then they'll go on, like, change jobs, change careers, and everything from that. So by the time, if we look at a let's say a 22-year-old just graduated, by the time they're 30, they'll probably be on a second carear already. They'll do
so 22
to 30.
To 30,
Yeah, they might, by the time they start to hit 30, they might be starting a second career.
Interesting.
Because they'll be going, right, by then you've got bills to pay, probably a family to feed, and things like this. So you go, well, I've got to make more money because things are getting more expensive.
Yeah.
And so that drives some career transitions. As I said, people will reach a certain level, and everyone's different.
Yeah. And
then they'll go, well, I'm not making any further headway. Right, I'm going to change jobs because that looks more interesting now. As an 18 to 22-year-old, you don't know what you want to do today. Like, honestly, for today's society, 6-8 years is a lifetime in a workplace. 2 years is a lifetime. It can be a lifetime in a workplace.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a number of different factors that will impact on. Let's say out of the 1,000 IT graduates from the other day, in 10 years' time, there might be just 80 left still in IT jobs because everyone else will be gone onto other things.
Interesting.
So that's really just the natural attrition rate for a longer term career. People come and go. People lose interest or just change jobs for whatever reason.
Right.
So, in the workplaces itself, things move in the private sector. Things move fairly quickly. Whatever's going to make the most amount of money or streamline business operations to maximize profits, that's where the private sector will go, which is natural.
Yeah.
And that may mean more automation, more offshore, a whole range of things. If we pick on a consulting company, for example, the use of AI to help draft reports and everything. So what might have taken a team of, 6-8 people 3 months to write, you can probably do that with 2 or 3 people now and in 6 weeks, for example, to really get a polished draft of things. So those sorts of organisations will need less people. You look at, if we're looking at a SOC environment, for example,
Yeah.
more and more SOCs are
Good
just straight
example.
out of the box now.
Exactly.
Right? And
Yeah.
a lot of it is automated. You look at Verizon's actually a good one
Okay.
to look at. They've automated so much of their SOC capability now, where just straight out of the box, what used to be, if you had half a dozen decent sized clients, you'd have 18 to 25 people in your SOC. You can do that with about eight to 10 people now.
Yeah.
So you don't need that many resources. If you look at government or state level cyber teams, they're not as big as
Yeah,
what
no.
they used to be.
Yeah.
Once again, they've either MSP'd them or outsourced them, or they've got their own capability. But once again, there's a lot of automation and everything involved in them, so you don't need as many or as large a team.
Yeah.
Anymore. So in that aspect, people, so within 5 years, they're seriously considering other careers and that as well. And so they're going to go where there is more job certainty, where there is better pay. And at the moment, certainly here in Queensland, the trades are where you can make a lot of money in the construction and everything like that as well. I mean, as I mentioned before,
exactly.
Queensland is now the largest construction boom in all of Australia between now and the Olympics. It's a $71 billion worth of construction going on between now and then. So if people aren't afraid to roll up their sleeves and
try something
maybe
new.
start from the bottom,
they
may move from an IT job into...
I mean, we've seen that happen in COVID, right? Yeah. Suddenly people left their flight attendants job. They might be way higher up and then switch into cyber. That happened. I've heard stories like that. Yeah. And then opportunities too.
Yeah. So sometimes things are outside of the control of the individuals. Financial impacts, mass layoffs, or, company goes bankrupt. Or even in government, in machinery of government mergers and everything like that, people
change,
get re-rolled and that as well. So,
So you mentioned from 18 to 20, most people don't even know what they want. There's no way.
No.
And then 22 to 30, what are those phases? You did mention that, but I want to capture that more.
So the looking at most of them will actually do a career change.
Yes, from 20 to 30. So what about from 30 beyond, based on your experience?
30 beyond, they're looking for more stability. Because as I said, then they've really got responsibilities to other people. They might have a family, they might have a mortgage, they might have whatever. But there's more elements in their life where they go, okay, I need more stability. So that's where they will probably either settle in to a job, or you get the other side of the coin, where you get those people that are just so driven. They go, I want to take high risk and roll the dice and try something completely new. Right. And so then you get an element doing another career change into their 30s. So if I look at mine, out of high school, I worked in retail. But I knew I was going to go into the army. I knew since I was 9 years old that I was going to join the army. And so I did retail for 3 and a bit years. But that was also to fund some other sporting activities and all that sort of stuff that I was wanting to do. Then I joined the army. I went through basic training on my 21st birthday, actually. And then I did army for just on 21 years. Then I joined the public service. I tried that and found that I wasn't wired to be a public servant. after about 3 years. It just wasn't for me. So then I moved into the private sector.
Can I ask what element of that, and
Um,
how do you normally find these things? Like you said at 9, you already know that you're going to go into army.
yeah, it was just.
Is it like a self-reflection thing or?
No, always, because I was 7th generation army.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
none of that was influencing me at that young age. My dad was out of the army by then. He was a coal miner by that stage.
Oh, you see, so another career.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he, there was nothing really influencing other than I just knew that's what I wanted to do. I used to see the TV shows and all that sort of stuff, and that's what I wanted.
Wow.
And it wasn't until I was late teenager that my parents and that told me about how long that history of
Interesting.
serving in the army went for. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was army. Then I tried as a public servant. Then into the private sector. So a couple of the big 4 consulting organisations, and then a couple of the smaller ones, and then worked out that no, I've got to have my own company. I've got to be the one running the show.
Yeah. I want to go back to your. So you went from the army, finished serving before you go into public sector.
Yeah.
What was that transition for you? Right.
My first job was in at ASD, the Australian Signals Directorate.
Nice.
So,
okay.
So it was doing similar work, but from the electronic side, so in the intelligence world. And so that was, and I was doing stuff, and I knew a lot of the people in there anyway. So it was quite familiar, and still doing real-time stuff and still providing a service to some of the uniform guys that I used to work with and everything. So there was that. So that was it. When I decided to make the move into the wider public service, after the first 12 months of that, it was actually difficult because I'll say the cultures didn't align with the culture of in the military of achieving results, right? And were a couple of areas where I was in the public service. It wasn't so much achieving results, just to be seen to be
doing stuff,
doing things, but not really interested in actually achieving real outcomes. So that's where it was like for me, look, no, that's not aligning to what I am.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's for everybody.
Exactly.
It's just for me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so then, made the move into the private sector, and I found that was more aligned with what I grew up with in the army. In that, you have to achieve results. It's very results oriented. Which is what better suited me, and that as well. So I'm not saying one's better than the other. What I'm saying is that, and what I discovered is, I think some people are better suited for the private sector, some are better suited for public sector, and some people are better suited for military. Side of the house.
Yeah.
But it's finding what best suits you, because and what I discovered was there are a whole bunch of people that work exceptionally well in the private sector, a whole bunch of people that work exceptionally well in the public service sector, but the two cultures are quite different.
Yes,
and there's not many people that could equally successfully go from one to the other. Most people are more suited for one or the other, and so it's important about finding just
what's your cup of tea.
It's like the same as some people are better suited for GRC work, and some people are better suited for the technical space. And once again, one's neither better or worse than the other. It's just finding where you're best suited for. I just happen to believe that everyone should go through GRC first.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll come
Just
to
to
that.
learn. Yeah.
We'll come to that. I'm really
Yeah.
curious to find out about that.
If this conversation gave you something, clarity, confidence, or simply a different way of thinking, then it's doing its job. This podcast exists to make cyber more human, to create space for leaders to think clearly and grow together without fear. I am Halil McIntyre, the stylish cyber guy. And if this conversation resonates, then I simply ask, tell the others. That's how we build this community, one conversation at a time.
So looking back at your army days, what was it like? This was what year?
Best times in my life and the worst times in my life.
Wow.
So it was learnt a hell of a lot. Had the opportunity to serve with great people, and some of them true national treasures in that way.
Any story you could share
Um,
with some of those national treasures?
If I look at, I also have to be careful what I say. If I look at my infantry days first, so the infantry days were more in the peacetime army.
Okay.
So not that many got to go on operations or anything at that stage. But there were absolute legends. And some of the guys in the infantry battalion I was in were still serving from Vietnam days. And so they had lots of stories.
Yeah, and experience.
Lots of experiences, everything like that. A couple of them had been in the Battle of Long Tan. Just recounting how things happened from people that were actually there was phenomenal. Some of the guys that I was with then went on to the Special Forces side of the house, and they went on to have some stellar careers. But a couple of the guys then actually, back in 97, there was a big Black Hawk accident, and a number of perished in that. So that was up in Townsville. So, but they were doing what they loved and everything like that as well. Then after a few years in infantry, I then was fortunate to get through the selection process to join the Intelligence Corps, Army Intelligence Corps, and got exposed to a whole range of things there. I should say that high school, I didn't really go there for an education. It was more sport and girls and fighting.
Interesting.
So it wasn't, but, got through enough to still get into the army. I think they were perhaps low. The army was low on recruitment numbers, and so was just taking whoever they could.
Right.
Did pretty good in infantry, and then when I moved over to intelligence, I actually had one of my bosses just approach me and goes, "Look, we want you to do this degree in history and politics. It's through Open Learning University.
Interesting.
You pay for each subject up front yourself, but if you pass, 85% reimbursed. Right? You have to apply to do that." And,
did you ask for it or?
No, I was. They actually told me that they wanted me to do that.
Wow.
Because
did you ever ask why?
Yeah, and he said, "Look, it'll be job related because the things that you'll learn will help you be a better intelligence officer or intelligence operator, help you with analysis, help you with report writing, and help lift you up on things. And some of the topics that you're going to be studying are going to be quite relevant and everything like that as well." And I said, "Yeah, but why?" And he goes, "Look, he said that he saw something in a couple of us that they wanted us to do this. And so it was somebody having faith in me and somebody taking a chance with me. So did that, over the course of a few years. And then once I finished that, 12 months after that, they said, oh, look, we're keen for you to do this master's in strategic intelligence. Same deal, So went through that. But I got to deploy on a number of operations around the world. They were, learnt so much, got to work with some of the best people in the world.
Wow.
In some of the crappiest conditions or environments. But in those crappiest of areas, occasionally you would see true beauty, whether it be countryside or whether you come across this remote village that hadn't seen white people for 20 years, or things like this. So it was, there were times it was just very beautiful things that you experience in some of the worst environments, things like that as well. Got to see some absolute brilliant leaders, and I paid attention, took a bit from each of them. Saw a couple of not so good ones, but learning what not to do is equally as important as learning what to do. And so once again, took lessons from that. I had the opportunity to lead on occasions myself as well. Once again, had some great successes, but also had a couple of big failures. Learned from those, got the kicks in the pants, and everything like that as well. So those aspects, and I was blessed with some very, I'll say, big mentors. There's a guy called Kev, Tomo, Pete, or Sensei, we nickname him. So I was blessed because they took an interest in me first, and they went out of their way to, when I was doing well, they'd tell me, but when I wasn't doing so great, they'd pull me aside. We'd go through it and everything, and they made sure.
What was the rapport and the dynamics, right? Like, is it more a broadly kind of rapport, like brothers, or more like a father-son kind of?
At times it was both.
Okay.
Yeah, so fortunate to grow up in teams. So this is where, something that's organically occurred in the company now as well. Is majority of the people in the company come from sort of a similar, pretty hardcore operational environments. They've been there and they've done some very big things. Pardon me, whether it's national security, mining, finance, and a couple of other areas, but they've been involved in real world things, right? There's a lot of banter.
Exactly.
There's a lot of, in a healthy way. They're very good at pulling themselves up, so I don't have to step in all that much. But that's also male and female, right? So the females give just as good. So that's no dramas.
Exactly.
But it's also, I was fortunate to grow up in teams where if you were having healthy banter, you knew things were okay. If the rest of the team started being very polite to you, you knew there was an issue.
Wow.
If everyone just started to be very nice or just very cordial and polite, it's like, no, I've done something wrong. So
interesting.
It's
that is so interesting.
But in a lot of the, I'll say, operational environments, it doesn't matter if it's defense, doesn't matter if it's police or emergency services or mine, or whatever. There is that healthy banter. Sometimes, yes, they can go, are you on board? And that gets pulled up. And that's what leadership has to do. whether it's the supervisor, so to speak, that is the leader of the whole team, or the team members themselves,
stepping up and carrying out a leadership act to go, hey guys, no, look, let's dial it back. But it's because a lot of the work isn't your a cup of tea, pleasantries or anything like that. So the men and women go through some very hard things.
Exactly.
And so they can't really talk a lot about it with a lot of people. So
having each other. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's like soldiers, professional soldiers all over the world. If they're having that healthy banter, if they're complaining about things, things are okay. When professional soldiers go very quiet, there's an issue.
Interesting. Yeah.
So it's that generally means they're not happy about something. Yeah. So that was sort of like where I learnt a lot. And when I in the intelligence world, there's three females in particular that really stand out. A lady called Angie, another one called Kelly, another one called Fleur. They were brilliant and everything. And once again, I learnt
how so
from it, the way they thought, the way that they led. They were natural leaders. You have ones who can learn how to be leaders, and then you have the ones that are just natural. And the three of them were natural leaders. I'd say probably some of the best leaders that the Army's had.
Wow.
In quite a while. No, they were really gifted.
Interesting.
In that way.
Are you able to share those beauty you've experienced in those difficult times? Any story that jumped to mind?
There was a time in Timor, actually. We were a mixture of vehicles and helicopters, having to go to a whole bunch of different locations very quickly to basically chase down some bad guys.
Yeah.
And we'd been trekking through the jungle for a few days. Everyone was just really cranky, wet, chafing, everything. And it was the wet season. And so we were just absolutely saturated. And then we come over the top of this mountain and I just remember the view that we saw. I took a photo of it, actually.
Wow.
And it was just one of the most, there was a bit of a low cloud cover that had come in across the other mountain. There was this big ravine, but the vegetation, and you could actually see quite a lot of wildlife and everything like that. And then you could actually see the sun trying to break through this low cloud cover and everything. And it literally was beams of light, and then you could see down. And it was just, I don't know, one of the most spectacular views I've ever seen. And then in this other country, went to, we'd come across this remote village, and just the people were absolutely, like, the smiles and just the look in their eyes and everything like that. They didn't have much or anything like that, but they put on such a feast for us.
Wow.
And it was one of the best meals I've ever had. So it was, and once again, it's just one of those spectacular experiences of humanity in those terrible times.
See, I always say that's one education that travel gives you, when you get to experience people from different culture, different background, you tend to realize how similar we all are, but at the same time, how beauty life is. The fact that we come in different culture, different languages, and there's so much to learn, and it just expands your world. Yeah.
No, it does, and I've been fortunate. Both my kids have had the chance to travel to several different countries for school trips and some work stuff, and they learnt so much from the cultures, from interacting with people, just immersing in the languages, just learning and getting to see things from different eyes, different viewpoints. So yeah, it was, and particularly for one of my kids, it was a humbling experience, and that as well.
Yeah.
So it was I think it's, if people can afford, because obviously that's a big thing. But I also met a lot of people in Australia that have never been out of Queensland, for example, or never been out of New South Wales. But it's, if you can, travel to other states in Australia and look at things.
True. Yeah.
Learn, because the states are different. As much as we're the same,
Yeah.
we are different.
Yeah.
And so all that immerses you in different cultures and the ways of looking at things, and it helps you grow. And you can then bring that into a leadership role, because then you have exposure on how to be with other people, the different people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And yeah, you're right, because I imagine part of key aspect of a great leader also being able to really bring people together. And do you want to talk more about that? That communion
certainly.
aspect of leadership.
Look, a leader is never going to be the expert in all things that a team needs to be proficient or an expert in. The best leaders acknowledge that in themselves, but what they do is they work as a team, and they're part of the team. And no one has a monopoly on good ideas. And so a good leader will actually ask the rest of the team, hey, we got this issue. We've got to come up with a plan on something. Look, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? And together they may come up with that plan of action. At the end of the day, that leader is still responsible. They're the ones that are still going to make the calls on things. But at various stages throughout that activity, one of the team members might be the best person to lead that bit of activity, because, this is your thing, this is what you know how to do best, than any of us. Give it a go. Right? And so, and it doesn't matter if that's in, the private sector, in the military, in the police, in the fireys, whatever, mines. Right? It's rightio, whoever is best at heading up for this particular activity, but the leader still is responsible for it, brings the team together, pulls it together, the ideas, and at the end of the day comes up with a game plan, but then make sure that things happen. And a good leader knows when to be involved and when to get out of the way. And that's the tricky part, is learning when to get out of the way. Because that
how did you learn that?
The very, very hard way. My team told me to my face, boss, get out of the way. You're the choke point.
But just on that too, that is such an interesting one. For your team are able also to have the sense of confidence, or even say, boss, get out of the way. It shows the kind of environment that was built for them to be able to do that.
You try.
I've seen situation or been in a situation where everybody was just dead silence.
Yeah, look, there are times at the end of the day, the leader or the responsible person, they may end up turning around and go, no, this is the way we're doing it. Because there might be bigger things at play, or that there's things that the rest of the team aren't aware of. Right? And so you've got to have that trust in each other. I was, I'd say, 18 months into that leadership role. And we're all brand new into the job, into our relative jobs. And so over that 18 months, we built up, a good team cohesion. But three of them come up to me and say, right, boss, you're the problem. Get out of the way. Right. And so as soon as and it stung,
Yeah.
I have a healthy ego.
Yeah.
But
Interesting. Yeah.
but it stung, but I was like, well, okay, rightio. And they got on with it, and it was a big success. But it was a success because I got out of the way. And they knew what they were doing. So,
wow. Brad, you've had a lot of challenges and some difficulties. The one in particular that that's in my mind is that freaky accident that you are involved in.
Oh, the fire.
The fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yep. What would you like to know? The whole thing?
I want you to take me there.
Yeah, okay.
The 12-minute moment.
Yeah. Okay.
Where were you? What were you thinking? Those are the questions that was in my mind throughout. Where were you? Where were you thinking? What was the last thing you could remember?
Yeah.
At that period.
So standing on the back patio,
Mm-hmm.
with the barbecue, just cooking steaks, and the patio cover was a steel frame, but it had a softer material roof, almost like Perspex sort of thing, polycarbon it was. Had a big burst of orange flame on the barbecue, which meant fat fire. So I switched all the nozzles off, and then even though the nozzles were off, there was a big burst of blue flame, which probably went almost as high as the roof here. So I realised, that's a gas fire. Called out to Jared. He came running out of the house.
And Jared
is my son.
Yeah.
And he, quickly told him what had happened. So he knelt down on my right-hand side. We pulled the gas bottle out. He spun it off to close the valve, and I double-checked, and it was closed. So then unhooked, and so the flame was still happening. So unhooked, but then the top of the gas bottle blew, and gas came out. So Jared's face was still right at where the nozzle and everything was, and I was a little bit leaning over it, and then I saw the gas start to ignite around about here. So pushed him, or actually, as he says, I punched him in the face, and apparently I pulled the bottle to me, and then that set me on fire.
Wow.
And then Jared ran off to get the hose, and I'd thrown the gas bottle by that stage, and so that was on the grass, but it was the flame was still pointing at the house and setting everything on the patio on fire. So I jumped on the gas bottle to try and point it away, and Jared had come back, and my legs were on fire and parts of my arm and everything, and so then he put me out with the water, and then we'd noticed that the fire had gotten into the house. So we both ran around to the front. I grabbed the hose off him and I told him to stay out, and he wouldn't listen and followed me in. I slipped over and hit my head on the tiles and split my skull right open. And he picked me up. We ran further into the house, and I was hosing, and then Jared, we saw parts of the ceiling collapsing, and then next thing I know, I was being picked up and carried to the front door, and just as we got to the front door, that's when all the rest of the ceiling had collapsed because the fire had spread right through the roof to over us and to the front door. So he was keeping situationally aware while I was just hyper-focused on to try and put out the fire.
Wow.
He refused to listen. Like, had lots of people yelling at him to leave me and get out of the house and all that sort of stuff. And I was telling him to get out, but he wouldn't. So that's, he got me out just in time where all the roof came down, right on top of where we were. So, obviously if it wasn't for him, I'd be dead. So then he got me to by then the ambulance had arrived. And the last thing I remember properly was him hosing me down, keeping the cold water on me, and then the ambo giving me the green whistle to suck on for the painkillers. And that's pretty much the last thing I remember really with that, other than bits and pieces when I got to the Royal Brisbane. Apparently it was an interesting ambulance ride of me crashing or whatever. And then I remember little bits and pieces. I don't really know what's fact or fiction or in my head for the next 3 days.
Wow.
And then once I started to come to and everything, that's where, I got told what had actually happened fully and everything. But lots of community support, neighbours and all that sort of stuff, friends, clients, and everything, all helping in that. And then I was laid up for months, bandaged up quite a lot. And Jared took over the running of the business. And so the rest of the guys in the company, Jared's running the show. So he kept it BAU for us until I was back on my feet. So all of that. So after that, all of that, it was the other guys in the company said, right, he needs to be co-owner of the business. And I'd already been thinking that anyway.
Yeah.
And he'd been learning from the bottom up. So he was just a BA to start with, and helping with the crisis exercises and other activities, other engagements and everything, and learning things from the bottom. And after that, so that was there were times where in the hospital where I was having my own golly gosh moments. Woe is me, and this one doctor, she told a blunt, she put me in a wheelchair and wheeled me around to the really bad burns area.
Yeah.
And ranging from babies to quite elderly. And I tried to ask the question, or ask a question. She goes, look, I know what question you're going to ask. You want to know how many of these are going to make it out of here alive? And I said, oh, yeah. And it was quite a big flaw. They said, look, we'll lose about a third of them. Right, so
wow.
And severity, as I said, from babies to grandparents sort of thing. So that was very, very humbling. And in that process was working out, right, where do we actually want to take the company now? What do we actually want to do? We want to focus on the things we really want to do and just let other stuff go. So that was a key moment for the company. And, had a bit of a changeover of staff and senior people at that stage as well. So that was a big driver in where the company is now, and sort of like what sort of things we want to be involved in and doing, and also the community service on a number of things as well, and giving back as well.
Wow, that so many. First of all, two things comes to mind. Number one, that feeling as though you're actually living in a borrowed life, because you could have been gone. Like that. And secondly, Jared, what a man.
I've said this a few times.
Yeah.
Is that in the worst of circumstances, which you wish none of your kids would ever have to go through, I was privileged to see one of my kids do something very courageous. And he ran into that house a young, a young person, but when he came out, he was a completely different man, and he changed that night, and over the next few months, and that as well, he just grew astronomically.
And I don't think you can teach that.
No, and I'm very blessed with both the kids. They're both way smarter than me, far better and everything, which is all good.
That's so
which
good.
is what you want.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So but in regards to where Jared is now and everything, he comes along to a lot of the meetings I have with boards and CEOs and senior executives. He goes and does them himself and that as well with some things. He's run engagements and some of the teams and that himself now. So
amazing.
It's been a big learning experience with him, but he's come through it.
Absolutely.
Well, still a long way to go. Not going to give him too much.
Yeah.
Got to keep him in line.
He's a learning curve.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. Wow. How has that changed you as a person?
The biggest thing. So with my army career, and some of the things that I've been involved with in even outside of army, there have been some very close calls where a couple of circumstances where I shouldn't have come out alive, but for whatever reason did. But that was always me, right? So I wasn't worried about that. This was the first time where it was almost losing one of my loved ones. And so that changed me a bit, and made me stop and realise a few things, and that as well. With the way that I look at the business now, the way that I look at people, the way that I look at life and everything, yes, all elements of that have been impacted to some degree in that as well. But that's all good, That's, as you'd expect those things to change. We want to spend more time doing the things that we want to do, and that doing things that actually matter, not things that are just naff, poodle faking, whatever, right?
No fluffs.
Yeah, no. And even like the taste in whiskey and everything has changed.
Yes.
The fire as well. I think I mentioned that.
Yes. I've listened to that. Yeah.
So,
interesting.
Yeah. Look, maybe it's the smell of burning changes your scent on things. I don't know. But I now much prefer really spicy foods and in the whiskies, and that is that heavy, peaty, smoky taste. Whereas before, I didn't like it.
Interesting.
So obviously, or maybe it's just my psychology.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Wow. But, so now, and previously, you don't do spicy food?
No.
At all?
Hardly ever.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. But like with the company now, with the teams.
Yeah, I'm curious actually.
So
we keep saying the company, that's Akela Group. Yeah,
Akela Group.
Maybe tell us a bit more about what you do.
So we started off as a cybersecurity and digital transformation company, very small. It's only just ticked over 5 years now. The banks will actually talk to us now. We're no longer viewed as a startup. So they actually want to have a meeting to see,
And you started what year, right?
2020.
2020.
Yes. So nothing like in the middle of a global pandemic going, you know what, I'm going to start my own company. And roll the dice. Move from Canberra to Brisbane. So I moved up to Brisbane less than a week before the lockdowns happened.
Sounds like you fall into that category that you mentioned, from 30 above, where they're happy to take that big risk. Does it feel like that for you?
Sometimes, yeah. Look, it was. I'd first start thinking about having my own company back in 2016.
Okay.
But I wasn't confident enough with it. And I thought, could I actually do it or not? So there was a lot of, and then trying to work out what would I do. And then come towards the end of 2019, it was like, you know what? No,
I'm curious, Brad.
got to do.
You gotta tell me then.
Yeah.
What's the major change from that 2016 to 2020 that you decided, okay, now suddenly the confidence is there?
Yeah, a number of like the engagements that we're doing with clients when I was working for other companies, whatever. And I was like, I don't like being the one not calling the shots. I want to be the one in charge and controlling it. And so, and I will admit, as I said, I do have a healthy ego, that I got to a point where I can do this better and I can do it differently. And the way that I want to structure things is that we have small teams.
Mm-hmm.
So we go into a client engagement. We keep the team small, but every person is a heavy hitter. Every person is capable from, rolling their sleeves up to doing the dirty work on the shop floor to then after lunch sitting down with the CEO or the board or the executives and having that discussion. So they've got to be able to do everything in between. And so you have this small heavy hitting team that can go in and achieve a strategic impacts and not worry about doing the fluff stuff. It's what's the stuff that actually really needs to happen, and that's what we focus on. We hit it hard when we do it, in a streamlined way, and able to get it done for the most part quicker.
Yeah,
and either within or just under budget, sort of things, and providing the client with what's really needed, and not, let's get 4 people in there and then let's grow that to a team of 20. And that's not what we're about. It's get the job done, get it done to a high quality.
Yeah.
And then typically in a lot of the cases the clients will go, helped us really well with that. Hey, can you help us with this other thing? Can you help us with this other thing? So that's, we have a small permanent staff, but then we have a number of contractors, specialised contractors that we draw on that I've known for 20 odd years.
Nice.
So they're all highly trusted that we can draw on. So so it keeps it flexible and that as well, and that's what they want as well.
Very cool, because with that, then you are able to really, really spend time with their client, walk them through.
Yeah. And there's also, we have in place now a couple of very important strategic partnerships with other companies. Because today no company can do it all. And so you have to have trusted partnerships.
Do you think that that's the best way to do cyber? Do you know why I said that? I've seen situations where, like for example, let's take Brisbane market, Queensland, where there are so many smaller boutique cyber brands, and when you go check what they do, for some reason you see that they're almost everyone doing the same thing. So now you as the client, your mind naturally will go on to one or two things. Number one, is there somebody that I already trust that I've worked with before that I can just or for this there's none that I could think of, but all I will do is I will just go fishing if I can and just say who's gonna give me the cheapest. But the cheapest doesn't mean good quality.
No, they may be doing. And we've put in a couple of tenders recently where we have put in a significantly reduced price, but bringing a very capable capability. But we've said up front, we say, look, we really want to work with you. We're prepared to do this strategic investment, right? We'll wear the overhead. Our real costs would be this, and we're upfront with that. And we say, but this is actually what we're prepared to provide it to you because we want your business and we want to work as a trusted partnership with you. All right. So it's.
What about competition though? in the sense that where instead of like for like, brands find ways where they could work together for the benefit of the client. I've seen situation where that actually work, but in most cases, people would like to just do their own thing on a separate. Then, I feel like the way I always see the world is that there's always enough food for everyone, and there's a way we could all work strategically to find out the best outcome. But a situation where entities don't like to work together to find that middle ground, I've seen more of that example than actually. For some reason, some will say, "Oh, we don't want to share our intellectual property," and that's the whole reason. But when you dig deeper, it's not really the case. How do you think we could get better at opening doors where this can happen?
Yeah, look, we've had a couple of other partnerships that didn't go well, right? They for a variety of reasons, just didn't work out. And one of them in particular got really vicious, and the client had to get involved. But the client saw what was really going on and had our backs on it. And that was just people being greedy and poor behaviours. The partnerships we've got now, like for example, Lumen Technologies, right? One of the biggest global cyber companies, and everything like that as well.
I think Lumen does training as well, right? Yeah, building capability.
Absolutely. But so we have the partnership with them, and there's another entity called Secure Forte, which is a AI-driven cyber supply chain risk management platform, and everything like that as well. And now we're bringing together a capability I can't talk about right now, but when we're ready to go to market, then I'll
can't wait to hear. Yes,
come and have a chat.
Okay. All right. So
Deal. Need a part 2.
Okay. Absolutely, definitely, because there's so many areas I want to capture. This definitely needs a part 2. Yeah,
and it's but it's taken a long time to find those trusted partnerships. And some of the people in the Lumen, for example, we've known each other for years.
Yes, yeah.
Right, so it's come like that way. And then even though we're a Brisbane originated and a headquartered company, as I said, we have been growing along the eastern seaboard in Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne.
Yes.
We've got clients all down there, and the aim is to international as well. But having like a couple of organisations as our partners that already have that global dominance, so to speak. But they bring us in on some of their things, and we bring them in on some of our things, and that as well. So it's quite a trusted, partnership in that way. And some things they prime on, some things we prime on.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so, but it's working all that out in advance, and and having the grown up discussion, and it's the leadership comes back to the leaders of each of the organisations, not only leading their own team but working together. The 3 leaders.
So does that have to do with the way the leaders, mirror the behaviour and show the dynamics? Will trickle down naturally? Or?
Yeah, but also how we interact with each other and that as well, because leaders of different organisations end up sometimes having to work together.
Yeah,
and so you've got to work having so many leaders of organisations in the one room. Sometimes that can get a little bit all right. But no, we're very fortunate with the guys we've partnered with. Very strong. We've worked out the way of how the organisations work together, and that as well. So it's quite a mature approach. But once again, it comes down to the leaders at the different levels doing their roles.
And the role could could be anything.
Yeah.
From showing up when there's a major problems to really being in the trenches alongside your team members as well. I would imagine.
No, but both the other companies have got some fantastic people.
Uh-huh.
You know, they once again a lot of real time experience, not just academic, not just policy. They've actually been in the weeds and learnt some very hard lessons in that as well. So they know how the real world works.
I've heard you say this a lot. People over process.
Mm-hmm.
People over process. What do you mean by that?
So when I talk about a good team can make almost any bad process work. A bad team will ruin almost every good process.
So true.
Right? And you think about it in all the different organisations you've been exposed to in your current role or previous roles and everything like that. And you'll see, if there's a good team or if there's a bad team, once again, it comes down to leadership of those teams doing their jobs.
Yeah.
85% of the issues in any team, in any workplace or anything, comes down to it can be resolved by leaders doing their job, what they're supposed to do. A lot of leaders or people in leadership roles, they do about anywhere between 65 to 75% of their job. They do all the fun stuff, but they don't do the difficult stuff. They don't deal with the HR issues.
Yeah.
They don't deal with the career progression of their staff or training.
To be honest, that has been one of the major issues I've seen.
Yeah. We did one of the state governments around Australia.
Yeah.
We met with a number of different departments and everything like that, and had some workshops and everything. And we asked the question as part of it, okay, out of all your cyber staff, how many would you deem to be competent at their job, either through, they've had training or they've had experience or they're just good. And each of the departments said around about 40% of their staff. So 60% of their staff aren't there yet, and they could either be through they're just not suited, or they haven't had the training, they haven't had the experience, they don't have the knowledge.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time it can be through no fault of their own. It's just they haven't been given that in the workplace. And so, you have 40% of the team carrying the rest of the 60%. And that 40% keeps getting loaded up with a lot of the work. And then you're seeing quite a number of that 40% walking out the door.
Yeah.
So that then reduces your capability levels.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So workplaces have to find the time and the budget to invest in their staff for training.
So let's do a little bit thought experiment out of curiosity, Brad. I'm really curious because that part is, I'm passionate about that bit. Thought experiment where you work in such kind of organization and you are given 90 days to really set those things back into their stable process. Do you think 90 days will be enough at least to start building those guiding principles for you? Step into that organization. What will you do if you have 90 days?
Okay, so if I get hired to head up an area.
An area, yes.
Right? They go, what's your 90-day plan?
Yeah.
I actually think that's a load of crap. All right? I actually believe my first 90 days, I'm not going to do a damn thing. Except for look, listen and learn. I'm going to learn how does the area actually work? Who are the problem children? What works? What doesn't work? How could things be fixed? So I'm going to spend that 90 days learning how that organisation lives, breathes and thinks. Then I'm going to come up with my game plan.
After that 90
After that 90 days. You don't go into you're executing your 90-day plan on day one.
So true.
Because that's how things stuff up. I actually think, when people are sitting for interviews for a job, for a senior role in an organisation, they often get told, right, tell us your
First
90-day plan that you're going to start on day one.
Yeah.
And it's like most people actually come up with this grand plan, whereas, I've been asked it and I said, not a damn thing. I'm going to learn. I'm going to see who the problem children are, who are the real influences, what are the things that really work, and what are the things that really don't work, and why. Right? Who are the problem children? Who are the stars? Who do I need to get rid of? Who do I need to promote?
Now let's fast forward.
Yep.
This 90-day period.
Yep.
You've already discovered that there is a problem where 40% of the team are carrying 60% of the work. That's one. Secondly, most of the team members are demoralized, and some of your best team members are actually walking out of the door to your competitor. What do you do?
So, and I've actually done this where I've sat down and interviewed everybody personally, one-on-one. No supervisors, no managers, no leaders, it's
Each interview took you how many hours?
It took me 2 weeks, full time, interviewing every one of the team members.
Tell me more, please.
And to go, all right, why? What do you do? Why do you do it? What's really going on? And everything. And they're kept in, for the most part, strictest of confidence, because some of the things they actually talk about, like I've actually had a couple of those team members break down crying because they were finally someone was listening or anything like that. And what you find the biggest issue was, or what I found was, there are a couple of people in so-called leadership roles that simply weren't suited for that. They were more technical SMEs. They weren't actually leaders. So we need to find a way to still keep them, but put them into a more heading up like a technical capability or a technical role, but not as that team lead across all of the streams. The other thing was staff weren't being invested in with training, with learning. Right? They were being thrown into the deep end, left, right, and centre, and just thought, figure it out. So, and then when we looked at, why wasn't there budget for training activities?
Mm-hmm.
And so then had to go and fight to actually get training budget. Wasn't everything that I wanted, but I'd probably say it was about 60% of what I wanted. And so we were able to then start upskilling a number of those people. There were a couple of people which were, look, you're just not suited for here. So we're going to try and find you somewhere else in the organisation.
Right.
Or, then we'll give you the opportunity to resign before we pull the pin on you.
How do you have to have those conversations? How do you set the tone for that conversation?
Most people just want to know straight up. So you just have the conversation straight up. You can be like as we're talking.
Yeah.
So it's a conversation rather than you're an idiot, you're worthless, we're going to get rid of you. No, it's so people. If you have an adult conversation with them, they mightn't like what's being said, but they'll accept it. Yes, there was one redress, and that took 4 months to resolve before the organisation supported. That they have to go. Which once again, that's what the process was. So they're entitled to due process.
Yeah.
And as much as a pain in the backside that can be at times, that's part of leadership. Is you have to go through that process. So upskilling the team, finding some better suited positions. and
Right.
everything as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then organizations understanding that just because someone might be the best technical SME in something, it doesn't mean that they're suited to be a leader of a capability or of a team. It's a big transition to make. And not everyone can do it.
Interesting.
And the thing is that let's say you do your technical SME
Mm-hmm.
on something, and then you do move into a leadership role.
Yeah.
Within 6 months, you're out of date on whatever that technical SME was,
Very true.
right?
Yes.
But a lot of those leaders still try and get down in the weeds and do that where they should be doing their leadership role. What they do need to become is an SME in leadership. They need to lead behind the technical, trust their new technical lead and the team, have enough to be able to call bullshit on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to focus on being an actual leader. And not everyone can do that transition. And that's where organizations need to have to keep these awesome technical people, there needs to be a technical stream. But there also needs to be a leadership stream. That's what that's what defense does awesome.
Interesting.
You can have technical specialists and then you can have leaders.
And in each stream, there are...
They complement each other.
Yeah.
Right? One's not better or worse than the other. They're two different streams, but they work together. And at the end of the day, the leader still has to make the call on stuff, but a smart leader takes advice and listens.
Wow, man. So true. So profound. Interesting. Because it just goes to say that even though there are those who are natural leaders, most of the bad leadership also could come from lack of proper training or people being promoted when they are actually when they are not ready.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure if you've heard me say this before, but it's many years ago in Army days. I was with a team and we were attached to another unit to head overseas, and John Howard was still the Prime Minister at the time.
Yeah.
And he came to visit the unit before we head overseas. And one of my soldiers actually said to him, look, so, you've been the PM for a long time. What's been the success for your duration?
Yes.
And he was brutally honest and said, look, my mentor sat me down and said, John, you'll never be the smartest person in the room, but hire people that are smarter than you and make sure they're not afraid to say no to you. And so then when you have something you want to say to the people, once you can convince them, then you can take it to the people. So it's actually something that's stuck with me. So I try to do that. I try to be the dumbest person in the company. But
you ask a lot of questions, though.
Yeah, but my job is to lead the company.
Absolutely.
So
what's the major change since the fire that you've made in terms of the company mission? Has the company mission changed, the Akela Group? In terms of the as it's called, DNA?
Yeah. It's at the end of the day, it's to make a difference in an organisation. It doesn't matter who the client is, but also more in the community as well. Right, is to make a difference, to make it a better world. And to help organisations significantly improve their operations. That's key. And whether that's through cyber, whether that's through business optimization or their procurement and contract management or their supply chain or whatever. You can optimize all of that to help that organisation achieve high outcomes and to uplift the organisation, the people, and everything like that as well. So that's
wow.
And we've expanded capabilities now. As I said, we started off in cyber and digital transformation.
Right.
We have the business optimization, and that's where we do a lot of the all hazards crisis management side of the house. So we're doing exercises or advice to organisations and everything like that as well. Only just a couple of weeks ago, we did an exercise that involved 5 countries.
That is major.
So we ran that out of a facility out of Melbourne. But the organisations from each of those different countries, and they were all government organisations. So that was the first time that had actually happened as well. And we're already, starting to plan the next one, which will be bigger. So that was an Asia Pacific one, and the next Asia Pacific one will be a lot bigger.
Bigger, yeah.
Than that as well.
Wow.
And then the procurement and contract management side of the house. So these are all been organically grown. It's been clients requesting us to do it rather than me and the team sitting there going, "Oh, what can we do now?" Right? It's been organic, which is, I think, worked out better for us.
Yeah. Before we jump into some themes, where I would be just throwing some quotes at you and just taking your viewpoint on that. Before doing that, I saw also you are a board member in the Cyber Champions of Tomorrow, and I'm actually curious. How do one even become a board member? Is there it has always been a question that I never got the chance to ask, but now that I've got a board member, how do one actually become a board member? And is it like you get tapped to be a board member, or there's a series of interviews you have to go through? What are the key things?
So I sit on more than one board now.
Yeah.
And each one of those I've been approached. And that's, by people that I've known for a while, and they've obviously seen what I do and who I am and everything like that. And,
absolutely.
And they speak to other people and, just confirm a few other things and then get approached. So that's how it's to happen for me.
Yeah.
There are businesses out there that if you pay them, they will go and find boards for you to sit on, or to potential boards.
I didn't even know that is even a thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Wow.
There are other boards where you can be on them, but you have to pay.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I've discovered that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's it's not all what you think, and I'm not one for going and chasing board positions.
Yeah.
I prefer the organic approach.
I agree. Yeah.
And I've known Gabriella, the CEO for the Cyber Champions, since 2020. And she's done a spectacular job with that organisation.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
really good.
What is it, 2.5 or closer to 3,000 people in 69 countries now.
Right now, yes.
Yeah. So we're going to, I think Sydney is, we've actually established the Sydney chapter now. And so we're going to continue with formal chapters in a number of capital cities and in some of the different countries now as well.
Exciting times.
So,
wow.
Over the next 5 years, hopefully we'll have at least a chapter in hopefully closer to 100 countries. So we can, my army taught me one thing, which is global domination.
Exactly. And I'm so proud that this is happening in our backyard. Right?
Yeah, well, it all started at TAFE Queensland at Southbank.
Yes.
And, Gabriella come and asked me to, out of the blue, I'd never met her before, and she just reached out and asked me to come and, talk at one of their things.
And you just say yes.
Yeah. So that was
I remember the last event that we went, even displayed the jacket and so on. She was kind enough to last minute let us in, Gabriella. And during one of her speech, which is testament to who you are as a person, she said you were the very first person to say yes to her when the thing was just a baby. It's just a figment of her imagination to now it being having a global impact. So I think it says a lot about who you are as a person, which is really cool.
She had a good idea, and I thought it was something that could actually work.
How important do you think we should be saying yes to opportunities? Especially when you reflect back at that, the young person who is just starting his career.
Look, a young person just starting their career can afford the risk of saying yes more times. I think a lot of people are scared in that, oh, what if it goes wrong? Or what are people going to think of me? Or who cares? Honestly, if you got enough belief in yourself and your idea, just go for it. Because I didn't know how Akela was going to turn out. It was, I took a big risk, and I was, well, I'm 58 now. It's at 53, deciding, I'm going to start my very first company.
Exactly.
All right. So it's like I can only afford probably about another 2 major stuff ups. Whereas a young person, they've got at least a dozen that they can get through, because you never know where it's going to lead.
So which means the older one gets, the more you grow career-wise as well, the more of those years will be turning into no in your experience.
Yeah, look, learning what to say no to is just as important as learning what to say yes to. But the key is recognizing opportunities, because opportunities don't come along at the perfect time, right? They might awesome opportunity might come along when you're in the middle of doing this other job that you're really loving doing, and then this one might be a brilliant opportunity, and you're going and you're torn, right? So that's generally how life works. She's a fickle thing, life. But it's learning to read what opportunities are worth
pursuing,
going for, and what ones maybe to let, and that only comes with experience. I've let through a couple of what turned out to be I should have said yes to. They were big opportunities, but I didn't recognise it. And I've said yes to a couple that perhaps I should have said no to. All right. So
saying that reminds me of one that I've done. Yeah.
So, but when you're younger, you can afford to take more risks. I mean, if you're 18, 20, 22, and if you fall on your face, who cares?
Exactly.
All right. There's a quote: "Cowards love to see heroes stumble."
Oh.
Right? Because it's how they feel good about themselves. So there's a small element of society that will go for those opportunities, and there'll be a larger part of society that will be just in that comfort zone, never take risks and everything. But a number of them will point and laugh at the person who takes the risk, and they may stumble.
Yeah.
But guess what? That person's just learnt a way of not to do it. Right? So now they'll try again.
I mean,
and again.
I mean, when you say that, I feel like you are speaking directly to me. I have to be honest with you, because just this podcast, for example, when we first shot the intro, we sat on it, and Jovan will attest to it that we sat on the intro for 3 months. Editing is done, everything is done, but we didn't publish it.
Why not?
I guess part of it has to do with, that what idea of what if it didn't work out, what that aspect of also unsure whether that is what the market wants. But then I sat myself and asked myself, is this something that truly, genuinely I care about because of what I believe I can bring to the table? And the answer was yes. So, and then suddenly I don't know what took over me. We just said, just put it out there and see how the
Yeah.
market reacts.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
sometimes things have got to be timed well, and if you can, other times it's a case of fuck it, let's just do it. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry for the swear.
Exactly. Yeah. But we needed that. I think we needed that.
Yeah, there are. You look at the likes of the Richard Bransons, Elon Musk's,
Yes.
the Bill Gates, blah blah, Warren Buffett's, and all them. Right? Yeah, they do calculated stuff.
Yeah.
But there are also times where they've just gone, you know what? Everyone else is telling me no, not to do this, but stuff it. I'm going to do it because I believe in it. And if I fall on my face, well, I'll get back up and I'll dust myself off, and I'll get back
Move on
into
to
it.
the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's there's another quote.
Yeah. Please.
Lions do not concern themselves with the thoughts of mindless sheep.
Oh. Let that sink in for a moment.
Yeah, it's like, who cares? Yeah, we've all got naysayers. We've all got haters. The list of my haters goes around the block, and it's well distinguished. All right, but I don't care. If I believe in something, if I do something or whatever, I've learnt, and I used to worry about. But then I worked out, really, it makes no difference in my life. And once I accepted that and made that change, it was like, well, stuff it. This is my life. I'm going to do the things that I want to do. And if I believe in something, I'm going to do it. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, well, I've just learned a way in which it doesn't work. So now I'll try a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Brad. Up onto, I can talk. We definitely need to have a part two. Yeah.
All right.
I've got a few rapid fire, if I can put it.
Yeah.
Someone will be just a quote. Passion versus proficiency.
I rather aptitude and attitude over qualifications any day. If people have the right attitude, the right aptitude, you can teach them all the stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the on paper qualifications, a degree or a diploma or whatever, that's less important.
All the certification we see people publishing on LinkedIn, some have like 7, 10, 12, 15, all on their
If a person's
profile.
hungry enough, they'll learn.
True.
Yeah.
One of the quotes I read was, embrace discomfort. Success comes down to executing day in and day out. Sitting in the discomfort of unsolved problems. Every goal worth pursuing has so much pain between where you are and where you want to go.
Yep.
Thoughts?
The army has an equivalent saying to that exact thing. Embrace the suck and succeed.
Do you think we give up because things are hard or because we are bored?
We've become less tolerant to discomfort. A lot of people don't like being out of their comfort zones anymore, and coupled with the reduction of resilience in people now as well. As soon as something doesn't go exactly their way, or it's a little bit out of their comfort zone, they have a meltdown, or they go, no, I'm not giving it. They give up too easily. All through life, you're going to find yourself in very uncomfortable situations and environments. It's going, all right, well, I can't change that, so embrace the suck and find the way forward. And that's exactly that quote.
Good is, now failure, all failure beside death is psychological. This was actually a fellow, another ex-army person in the US that said it. His name is Jocko Willick, I believe that's his name. He said all failure besides death is psychological. As long as you are not dead, no matter what the failure is, it's just in the mind.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I
Yeah.
mean, look, people ask how I recovered from the fire, for example, right?
Yes.
And the thing was, well, I'm still above ground. Jared's still above ground,
Yeah.
right? Nothing else matters, right? So it's right. Keep moving forward. Okay, we got put on our ass by something completely outside of our control. Right, rebuild. Keep moving forward.
I mean, you lost the house, right?
Yeah, we lost the house in 12 minutes. Yeah, that's when the roofs collapsed. And the reason why we know that is because it took 12 minutes for the fireys to get and the cops, or the police, I should say.
Yeah.
And they cited the time and everything, and that as well, from when they got the first call.
Yeah, to the time when
they arrived and that. So yeah, so it's there are like a large part of the team in the company.
Yeah.
The thing that they fear the most is not death, but failing their loved ones. Everything else, they're not scared of failure.
Wow.
They see it as, okay, we've just found a way, it doesn't work. Let's try a different way.
Yeah. We have a closing transition
Mm-hmm.
on the podcast.
Yep.
And where we ask the guest, what's one quote you live by in life and career? And what's one question that you are still seeking an answer to or answer for, and it's still not yet answered?
There is a quote.
Yeah.
I could say it politely, or I could say it as the quote
Give
is.
us as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck death, don't stop.
As simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just, and that actually came from one of my mentors,
Mm-hmm.
a guy called Brendan Tomo. I was having a really not a good time on something, and something had gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And he just walked up to me and he just said those words. And I was like, right, okay, well, let's pick up, let's get back into it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's very few people I've actually said that to, or told that quote to. Question.
Yeah.
Question. What I will say is, well, this is the thing for the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, laid up in hospital and everything like that, I discovered the meaning of life. I discovered the meaning of my life. So the meaning of life is to live life. The meaning of my life, I've worked out what I'm here to do and achieve.
Yeah.
And everything as well. The loudest noise in the universe is complete silence.
Wow.
And the greatest sound in the universe is a little baby laughing at the dog getting the zoomies. No other sound in the world like it. That is the greatest noise in the universe. So that's what I worked out in that haze in hospital. The question that I have left of what I want answered would probably be, no, I'll have to do that part two. I'll have to think about that one. Yeah, definitely part two.
What a powerful moment, Brad. You are such a generous person. Thank you for your time.
No.
We've learned so much, and I think in talking to you, it solidifies why I believe we are taking on this podcast journey as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, why are you doing this?
my mission is I want to live in a world where the vast majority of us are inspired to bring out the best in ourselves and in each other.
Yep.
And I sat and talked to myself, how do I do that? I'm interested in stories. I'm interested in leadership, and I've got passion for style as well as cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And I thought if there are ways I can help the younger version of me on how to navigate life, career, but also help the next generation, while spending more time with the wise leaders who have so much to offer and may not have the time to do mentorship, but then we can create an avenue for them where they can have their voice heard, but also have that mentorship at scale through a long form conversation. Then that's what I will do, even if it's not bringing $0 in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
so that's just
helping people learn.
Exactly. Helping people learn and helping cyber professionals be more human.
I don't know. They might be going a bit too far.
Yeah, because we're being too logical. But
a lot of cyber people don't have a personality.
Exactly. But we're going to make it happen.
Yeah,
that's why we're here.
That's right.
Yeah.
No. Also, no. Thank you very much for.
No, sir.
For
thank you. Thank you so much.
It's
so
been a pleasure.
grateful.
And just happy to.
And keep doing what you do. The world needs it. I think you should write a book.
No, I don't know.
I think you should write a book.
See. We'll see.
Yeah. And I'll be all there championing wherever I can. Yeah, I think you should write a book. Amazing. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.